11-0003.
Second.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, is that out of order?
I believe it is out of order, but
I can clarify the amendment would simply strike the language in this referral and replace it with the language of my referral, which I can have printed for you if that's easier.
Well, point of order, Mr. Chairman, all of the shenanigans about moving things, couldn't we theoretically pass both amendments and let the legislature decide?
absolutely, that's why I said it made no difference which.
All right, so rather than my point of order, we'll just vote down the amendment.
Right, so.
Vote on the amendment.
Roll call vote on the amendment.
Okay, Mr. Barker?
No.
Mr. Eckel?
Yes.
Mr. Esposito?
Yes.
Mr. Howland?
No.
Chairman Yolovich? 2-3, amendment passes.
Any further discussion, Legislator Esposito?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may, I'd like to ask some questions through you to the maker of the referral.
Absolutely, he's an ex officio member of the committee and he may speak.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, could you explain a little further? You said it was your duty to bring this referral at this time. Could you just expand upon that, please?
Yes, through you, through the chair, to Legislator Esposito. If I'm not mistaken with my timelines, this referral that I'm submitting today is exactly the same time as we did it 10 years ago, just so that we hit all of the dates that we have to do the public hearings and be ready for when the census comes out, so.
Okay, and through you, Mr. Chairman, to the President, do you know in past redistricting years, when this referral came before this body, were there proposals before it to reform that process?
Through you to the chair, not really sure that I'm aware of a process, there was an amendment to it, but I know that if I'm looking at what history I've got on it, is that we submitted this on this time of this cycle to do such, to make sure that the process moved forward.
Okay. Through you, Mr. Chairman, in your referral listed date, March 25th, can you explain why that date is listed in your referral?
Yes, hang on a second. Through you, Mr. Chair, it's a Board of Elections estimate to get everything completed. For when the census data comes out, right?
I'm sorry, through you, Mr. Chairman. Say that again, please?
For when the census data comes out, it's an estimated time for the Board of Elections on when we would be able to hit the mark so that we've got everything out in time.
Okay, so through you, Mr. Chairman, on March 25th, the U.S. Census Bureau is expected to release the local census data from 2010 that will allow this commission to complete its work. Is that what the date signifies?
That would be correct, through you, Chair.
Okay, and through you, Mr. Chairman, given that that's more than 2 months away, don't we have ample time to appoint the commission and have it do its work, given that it really can't do anything until March 25th anyway, that would allow us to fully consider a reform proposal to change the charter rather than appoint a commission at this time?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, no, not really, because what's going to happen is if this referral and the other one, if this one goes to the full ledge next week and we do that, we're going to have to set the public hearing for to the table of motions, set all that stuff. So it's really the same timeline that we did back in 2001. So.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, is there anything stopping you as president with the authority to do so from naming a commission like this through a matter of importance or a matter of urgency or some expedited time frame to make sure that it was in place in order to do its work by March 25th?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, is my opinion, and it's my prerogative. I certainly could do that. However, that trying to keep this on target and doing what we're supposed to be doing as a legislative body, I had picked the exact same date as we did 10 years ago so that both sides would be fully aware of what we were doing.
Very well, thank you, Mr. President. If I may continue through you, Mr. Chairman. Many people in the conversation about redistricting, in light of the proposal I've had out there for a few months now, have called the current process bipartisan. And no doubt does it include members of both the Republican and Democratic Party. However, I take exception to it being played out as bipartisan in terms of being fair. I'd like to ask you through, Mr. Chairman, to the President, why the text related to the minority position is different from that of the other appointments in this referral.
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is because of the request of the minority leader.
And through you, Mr. Chair, do you know why the minority leader requested that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have no idea.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, to the President, how much notice did you give the minority leader to make his appointment?
Through you, Mr. Chair, whenever I submitted it that morning, that's when he got it. Same time that everybody else got it.
Could you clarify that through you, Mr. Chairman?
It was timed, through you, Mr. Chair, I was time stamped that day and it went in. I'm not really sure what. I don't recall when I called the minority leader on that.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the President, is it fair to at least say you didn't call the minority leader until the morning of you put in this referral to name the commission?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure. I'd have to check my records.
Okay. And through you, Mr. Chairman, do you recall how much notice you gave the majority to name their appointee?
That would have been through you, Mr. Chairman, the same amount of time. I did it both at the same time.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the maker of the referral, redistricting obviously becomes a very popular subject every 10 years, and this year it's been, this past year, particularly in the last campaign season at the state and federal offices, became a very hot topic, given the overwhelming feeling in the public that the current process leads to gerrymandered abuses, similar to some of the congressional districts that were mentioned in public input, as well as state and local districts as well, in my opinion. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to ask you, Mr. President, through the chair, if you felt that the process used by Monroe County was in need of any reform whatsoever, or if it was completely fine as is.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think Legislator Esposito was asking me for an opinion, and I guess as the maker of the motion, I'm going to say this. I made this motion tonight to continue to keep doing what I'm supposed to do in my office as president, and that is to continue to make sure that we follow the county charter and county code. So at this point, I think it's a moot point of what my opinion was on it. I'm just following basically what has been done in the past.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't think, as the president and the maker of a referral, your opinion is a moot point. And through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the maker if he considered any changes at all to the existing Legislative District Revision Commission before submitting this referral.
Through you, Mr. Chair, no, I did not.
And through you, Mr. Chairman, to the maker, do you support redistricting reform at the federal or state level?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I am sitting here today as the maker of the motion, and I will tell you that I have done a lot of homework on this, and what we have done in Monroe County has been a very good job over the past few years. And I know that this process is very, by saying that we're going to redistrict or reform redistrict, it becomes a very a good catchphrase to say. However, I looked at the past practices of what we've done, and there are certain things that I think that don't necessarily always come out when it comes to the redistricting, about what the size of the districts have to be, what districts we have to follow the 110% percentage on towns and things like that. So there's a lot of things that, even though it sounds good, I think there are certain factors, and we'll wait until we see the numbers come out from the census data. But I mean, there are certain things that are going to make sure that we have fair districts. Not only will we have fair districts, and it'll be a proposal. The proposal will come before the full ledge. They will vote on it. The public will have a forum in which to talk about this. So I'm not uncomfortable with that. We don't have a good process at this time already.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your diligence on the matter and hope that all of our colleagues do the same thing when considering both of these referrals and going forward, however the lines are drawn. I would just ask through you, Mr. Chairman, President, again, do you support redistricting reform, and I can be more specific, of an independent, nonpartisan panel nature at the federal and state level?
Excuse me, I was about to point of order this myself. What the referral says is they're setting up the commission the way it has been, and he's doing it in a timely manner so that it can move forward. His opinions on redistricting should have nothing to do with it, and I'm going to find that out of order. If you want to object to that, that's fine. But
No, I won't object to that. I get that point. I certainly disagree that as the maker of referral, president, doing your duty or not, the opinions of the legislators of this body are what we're supposed to share as we're elected to do that when we're debating these matters. And I think I find it ironic and suspicious that there is no opinion on the matter from the president of this body. I won't appeal the decision. I'll move on.
is there any further discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm through with my questioning at the moment, but I'd like to speak to the referral. Obviously, I've made it clear from my original motions, I think it's premature to consider naming a commission before we even debate the process by which it's done and the potential changes to the commission in our charter. While I respect the President's duty to make sure that this body runs in a timely manner on something of such critical importance, I also find it to be emblematic of the hyperpartisanship that runs in this chamber, that we would have a proposal put forward to continue to the current process to name the commission when everyone in this body is well aware of the fact that we were having an ongoing discussion about changing the process. This process that's before us in this referral, naming the commissioners, or at least 4 of them, is just politics as usual. It's not what people want right now. We know that this process will lead to the continuation of the status quo. We know it will lead to the lines being drawn by the Republican Party because they happen to be in control right now. We know this will lead to gerrymandered districts, new districts that will protect incumbents and disadvantage opponents, where the only, or certainly top priority, will be to strengthen the Republican majority, not serve the community. This process, the one we're voting on right now, in the previous 10 years, has led to only 4 incumbents losing re-election out of 88 general elections. That's not accountability, that's not competition, that's not transparency. This process is also emblematic of what's wrong with the hyperpartisanship in our society. By no means is it limited to this body. When you have gerrymandered districts using the process that we're about to vote on, the results will be more safe Republican and safe Democratic districts. The safer the district, the more extreme the representation becomes, which provides less motivation for people to reach across the aisle, to collaborate and compromise with each other, exacerbating the polarization of our honorable body, our politics, and the discourse in our country. We need to put the people we serve ahead of partisan politics. Simply put, it's a conflict of interest for legislators to draw their own lines. As a government, as a legislature, as legislators, we should root out conflicts whenever they exist because they can lead to abuse, corruption, and scandal. For these reasons, I obviously urge you on this committee to vote no so we can reform the process and then name a commission when we have a fair, bipartisan, truly bipartisan one before us. I ask you to vote no so we can adhere to the overwhelming will of citizens that do not want the status quo to be maintained. And I urge you to vote no so we can move beyond that status quo to improve our democracy. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have in this referral.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda.
Next item is 11-03, Independent Redistricting Commission for the Monroe County Legislature.
You want to move it?
Yes, I'm sorry. Move.
Second.
Moved by legislator Esposito, seconded by legislator Eckel. Is there any discussion? Legislator Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know this is a long-discussed referral and detailed proposal. Therefore, I'm happy to take any questions from the committee members at this time.